Hey, what's going on, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. We have certainly had a lot of choppy action, lots of headlines, all sorts of um, crazy or back and forth responses to those headlines, right? I mean, it's been kind of like the defining characteristic of the last couple of weeks is like all of the back and forth headlines. But not all stocks are reacting to the headlines, and not all stocks are choppy, right? And that's one of, I think, the biggest benefits of really being selective with what you're doing is that things can still work even in an environment like we're seeing, where a lot of choppy back and forth, pop and drop, and not a lot of continuation, right? Etsy, this was a really big focus for us recently. And what I liked about it was that it was setting up kind of similar to what it did pre-earnings run in July, right? Where you see like it rolled over and then it put a lower base, traded back through moving average resistance, and it went on a run, right? So rolled over, traded underneath moving average resistance, and when it crossed back through, so that was right here when it got back through 120, it just went on a similarly really extended sharp run, right? Also, it got added to the S&P 500, so that's when Tesla got snubbed, right? Kind of a high-profile snub. Lost in the shuffle there was that Etsy got added, and that really was a surprise. So you have addition to S&P, good technical setup, also good fundamentals, right? E-commerce names still acting great. So overall, it was just I thought it was a nice swing trade, especially when it got back through 120, which was like right here. I thought it was like kind of a clean trigger point for that trade. In terms of like the option strategy, it was November. It was a November call spread, and it transformed into higher call spreads, and we kept rolling up as the stock kept running. And ultimately, what I was looking for was a retest of the high, which happened yesterday, and then today it kept going. So the trade was actually closed. All right. Now, um, what I normally like to do is stick with trades that are working in my favor, or that I think could still work. Like, just keep taking off risks, locking in money, and rolling up to higher contracts, right? The reason why I closed completely out of this is because it was extending further and further away from its 8 EMA, and especially, I did say at the beginning of this video that things can work on their own, but you also, you do need to weigh or factor in what's going on in the overall market, right? Kind of choppy action, back and forth. Things like the Qs aren't necessarily breaking out, the spiders aren't breaking out. So stocks that get very extended to the upside, I'm more interested in like locking in money, taking off risk. And what I will do is, especially a name like Etsy that's worked well for us, is I'm going to focus on a pull in, and if it can get back into like this 8 EMA, right? So like mid 130s. Now, um, depending on when it happens and what the option pricing is like, is going to kind of determine what contracts I go with. But it's just one of these like, it's one of these names and right sector, right place. And what I really try to do is like maximize the ones that are working, right? Maximize the winners, like stick with the winners as long as they want to run. So for Etsy, it worked great. And yes, we don't have any options. We don't have the November options left anymore. But what I'll be watching is for it to hold a higher level, so like mid
Sandler
130s,
raised the price target
and
on
if it
Moderna
does,
from 134 to
and if it
136.
does hold the
M.
higher level, right? So like higher 130s, then I'm looking for possibly another like up, and maybe even get like a ramp into the report style trade. So again, comes down to the time frame, comes down to the right contracts, but things are working in this environment, even though like the overall market's kind of choppy. It's just you got to focus on the right setups. You got to have the right expiration, right? I mean, like for this, it wasn't a great day trade. I know a lot of people were kind of looking at it as kind of like a day trading name, but it hasn't worked great as a day trade. But for a swing trade, it has worked. It has worked pretty awesome, all right? So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and especially as we get into earnings season, there's going to be more event trades. But long story short, things you want to focus on things that have good setups, right? So whether it's swing trades, event trades, day trades, setups matter. And it's this Etsy is, to me, is just a good reminder that things can kind of work on their own. They can operate in their own little universe. So it's just really important to focus on the good setups. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on options trading or option swing trading, please follow up the link in the description of the video for more information on options in play. Hope you have a wonderful night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.